It's strange how the heart works. It leads you down paths you know aren't right, but still, it pulls you in. My heart belongs to someone else, and despite the impossibility of it, that's where I am. Even when my mind tells me it's wrong, my heart beats for someone I can't have, and somehow, the pain of it feels like the truest form of love. I've tried to ignore it, tried to move on, but my heart keeps circling back to someone else. It's not easy and it's not fair, but that's the pull I can't escape. They're not mine, and I know that's the truth. But my heart doesn't care. It keeps reaching out, holding on to someone I can't have, and all I can do is feel the ache. How do you move forward when your heart keeps calling out to someone who isn't yours? It's a question I can't answer because no matter how much I try, my heart keeps choosing them. It feels like I'm living in two different worlds, one where my heart belongs to someone else, and another where I'm supposed to let go. But letting go isn't as easy as it sounds. The truth is painful, and it's something I can't escape. My heart belongs to someone who isn't meant for me, and no matter how much I wish it were different, that's the reality I live with. In a way, it's like loving a dream, beautiful, unreachable, and full of longing. My heart belongs to someone else, and I have to live with the ache of knowing it can never be mine. The heart doesn't care about what's logical or right. It just feels. And right now, it feels for someone who isn't mine, and the ache of it is something I can't shake. It's a painful kind of love, the kind that you can't have but can't stop feeling. My heart belongs to someone else, and no matter how much I try, that fact stays with me. Love doesn't always make sense. Sometimes it pulls you towards someone who isn't meant for you, and you're left trying to figure out how to live with that truth. I know it sounds strange, but there's a part of me that belongs to someone else. It's not something I can control. It's just the way my heart works. It's the kind of love that haunts you, the love that you know is never meant to be, but it's so strong that it feels like your heart is tethered to that person no matter what. My heart doesn't always follow the rules. It beats for someone who can never be mine. And though I try to move on, there's a part of me that will always belong to them. There's no explaining it, no reason why, but my heart belongs to someone else. And though I try to forget, the truth of it remains as constant and unshakable as the sky. It's like being caught in a dream, unable to wake up. My heart belongs to someone who isn't mine, and no matter how much I try to move on, that love lingers. I wish I could let go, wish I could stop loving them, but my heart refuses, holding on to someone who isn't mine, and it feels like an endless tug of war. I know it's a difficult truth and it doesn't make sense, but I can't help the way I feel. My heart belongs to someone else, and no matter how I try to fight it, it's something I can't change. The heart has a way of leading you where you least expect. I never thought I'd find myself loving someone who isn't mine, but here I am, trying to understand the pull. My heart aches for someone who isn't supposed to be mine. It's a twisted kind of love, a love that doesn't make sense, but it's real, and it's all I know. No one ever tells you how hard it is to love someone who isn't yours. My heart belongs to them, and despite the complications, I can't seem to let go. The truth is, love isn't always about who you can be with. Sometimes it's about who you can't stop loving, no matter how hard you try to move on. I've learned that love doesn't always play by the rules. It doesn't care about what's possible or practical. It just feels. And right now, it feels for someone else. Sometimes you just have to accept that your heart belongs to someone else. No matter how wrong it may seem, it's a painful truth, but it's my reality. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's the truth. My heart belongs to someone else, and there's nothing I can do to change it. That's the hard reality I face every day. I find myself constantly wondering why the heart works the way it does. It clings to someone who can never truly be mine, and no matter how much I try to move on, I can't seem to let go. The heart doesn't always make sense. It pulls you towards someone you can't have, and you're left trying to figure out how to move forward when you know it's impossible. It's the most difficult kind of love, the kind that you know isn't meant for you, but you can't stop feeling it. My heart belongs to someone else, and the ache of it is something I can't escape. It's complicated, and I can't quite explain it. I wish my heart could make sense of it, but every time I try, I only find myself tangled in a mess of emotions, torn between what I feel and what I know. I know it sounds twisted, and I wish it didn't feel like this, but sometimes the heart doesn't listen to reason. It's filled with a deep longing for someone who isn't meant to be mine, and no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to let go. There's a battle between the heart and the mind. The heart calls out to someone else, even when the circumstances scream that it's wrong. It's a strange kind of loyalty, a love that feels so strong, yet so possible. How do you make sense of emotions that defy logic? I wish I could turn off the pull towards someone who's not meant for me, but my heart refuses to listen. It feels like an unexplainable truth that I'm still learning to understand. It feels like a contradiction within me. My heart beats for someone else, someone I can't have, and yet the truth of it aches in a way that makes me feel like I'm torn between two worlds. The mind wants one thing, and the heart wants another. I've tried to push it away, but I can't deny what I feel. My heart belongs to someone else, even when I know the situation isn't meant to be. I know it's not supposed to make sense, but it does in its own twisted way. Even though my heart aches, it continues to belong to someone I can't call my own. And it feels like the most honest truth, even if it's painful. I never imagined I'd feel this way, caught between two realities: the life I'm supposed to live and the love that keeps whispering to me, reminding me of someone I can't be with. It's hard to admit, but the truth is simple. My heart belongs to someone else. Despite the complications, despite everything telling me it's not possible, the love remains. And that's what I have to live with. I never thought I'd find myself here, with my heart tethered to someone who can't be mine. But the truth is, love isn't always about who you can be with. Sometimes it's about who you can't stop loving. There's no logic to it, no reason, just feelings. My heart keeps calling out for someone who isn't supposed to be mine, but still, it feels right in a way that no one else could ever understand. What do you do when your heart refuses to listen to the rules of logic? When it keeps beating for someone who doesn't belong to you, no matter how much you try to resist it? I never thought love could feel like this. Complicated, twisted, and full of longing. My heart belongs to someone else, even when every part of me knows it's not supposed to. It's not just a fleeting thought, it's a deep-rooted feeling. My heart beats for someone who isn't mine, and I can't seem to shake the hold they have on me, even when I know it's not right. I can't stop thinking about them, even though I know I should. My heart longs for someone who isn't meant to be mine, and no matter how hard I try, I can't seem to make it stop. There's a heaviness in my chest, an ache that won't go away. It's like my heart is stubborn, refusing to let go of someone who isn't mine. And the more I try to ignore it, the stronger it gets. It doesn't matter how much I try to push it away. My heart is tied to someone else, and nothing I do can seem to change it. It's like a pull I can't resist, no matter how much I want to. Every time I think about them, it's as if my heart refuses to listen to reason. It's not logical, it's not ideal, but somehow it feels right, and it hurts because it's impossible. I wish I could explain it, but I can't. My heart is drawn to someone else, and no matter how much I try to fight it, there's nothing I can do to change it. It's like I'm living with a love I can't have. In the quiet moments when I let myself feel, the truth is undeniable. My heart belongs to someone who isn't meant to be mine. And though it doesn't make sense, it's the only truth I can't escape. Sometimes love feels like a beautiful curse. It's the kind of love that lingers, even when you know it's not your place and your heart refuses to let go. It's painful to love someone you can't have, but in some twisted way, it feels like the most genuine love because it's the one that remains despite all the reasons to let it go. I find myself caught in the contradiction of loving someone who isn't mine, knowing I have no right to hold on, yet unable to stop the pull. It's a confusing, painful kind of love, but it's real. I know this love isn't meant for me, but my heart can't seem to stop loving them. It's like a constant ache, a longing I can't shake, no matter how much I try to forget. Sometimes you just know when your heart belongs to someone else. It doesn't make sense, but it feels real. It hurts, it confuses, but it's undeniably the truth.